my good friend Cindy and I are going to start working on a book, and it's a little series here on post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury. I've had the good fortune of actually working at probably the top area facility, if not in the country, in the world, in terms of getting great results on this. It's a small little type of program, seats 40 soldiers from all over the United States that are active and duty from Afghan and Iraqi soldiers, and getting great results there. And post-traumatic stress disorder is now really coming into the mainstream. We know, and we'll talk about the difficulty in terms of how many soldiers are coming back. Hundreds of thousands of these people have been altered. We know that people that are under violence and under stress and strain have this type of change in how they think and perceive the world. And unfortunately, drugs don't do it. I mean, when I see it from little guys like Navy SEALs, now these are people that you could probably put a nail through their hands and they'd probably laugh at you. These are tough individuals. But this post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury has now crippled them to where they're just a mess. So this is a very serious problem. As we were talking before we went on air here with Cindy and John, this is being seen in all aspects of our society because of the amount of stress and strain. So just to start to go over, post-traumatic stress disorder, once again, is a type of anxiety disorder where it causes you not to be able to function. Now, some of these soldiers I see and hear stories are just devastating. Now, they go over there. That's a whole different political type of statement of whether or not we should be over in Afghanistan and Iraq and all that kind of garbage. But they're over there, they see and they experience these terrible things, they come back, and now once again their lives have been altered for the negative, and they've had problems with their family, and they've tried to commit suicide. It's terrible. And as I mentioned to you, it can be due to just domestic abuse, assaults, rape, terrorism, war. All these different things can have a big effect in terms of what happens. In the natural medicine business, I mean, it's common knowledge the body, mind, and spirit makes who you are, healthy or sick. It's only in the drug industry, well, what you think, you need to see a psychiatrist, but what does that have to do with the rest of the body? Not very much, just from what they consider about. So this is something that needs to be really addressed, and what I hope to do is provide a nice series here and give you some other choices than medication. Now, we'll talk about medications, maybe at best can be very short term. As I'm probably the biggest critic on the American Medical Association for being corrupt and terrible, but they are very good with acute care trauma. Now, when these soldiers get blown up and their arms are basically dangling around, that's where they're really good at. Stabilizing the condition, and technology has gotten better from the Korean War to Vietnam War, is very, very quickly getting them to an acute care trauma area, stabilizing them there. That's where the problem begins. Now, once the acute care trauma is stabilized, that's where they're introduced with lots of drugs and poor kind of care, and that's where they get messed up. And that's where there's other type of systems out there for these individuals. So we'll be starting a series with the good help of Cindy here to give you, whether or not yourself or a loved one or a family member, have some other alternatives than, unfortunately, the failed system, because that's what we see at this pathway home. We see the rejects. They've seen already 12 VA doctors. They've been on all the different types of drugs, medications, and guess what? They're no better, just like people that are on drugs for all the other type of sicknesses there. They only get worse, and of course that makes them more money. So look forward to that, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.